Hi guys, it's Jamie here. I've had a few comments on some of my videos that people would like to see my own journal. Well, to be honest with you, up until this point, my journal has either been my planner, which is my happy planning videos, or is pretty scrappy notes that I make on any courses that I'm taking online and sort of applying those courses to my daily life. And that isn't something I do every day because of time allowances. Therefore, you guys have motivated me to keep more of a journal. This will probably end up being a little bit of everything, some art journaling, some actual journaling, some answering deep questions and learning. So I don't know if you'd call it a journal or a catch-all. I didn't have time because I'm making my mum's journal for her 75th and I'm making a journal for the competition, and I've just finished doing Helena's big gothic horror journal and some mini projects for Christmas presents. I haven't had time to make my own journal, which is hysterical if you think about it, or ironic or whatever. So I bought one. But knowing that I stick things in and add things, I thought the first thing I would do is show you that I create extra space in a pre-made book. And the way I do that is I go to a page and take a ruler, rip that page out, keep the next page, take the page afterwards and rip that page out. Now I have one page instead of three, which gives me a little bit more space when adding bits of ephemera, sticking things down. And I have done that even in my scrappy notebooks before. Using a Pritt stick, I just grab these ends and glue them in and glue them onto the page that they're supporting. This journal is actually sewn in, so the only thing I do is if I come across the centre of a signature, I do not rip pages there, no matter how many have gone out before or after. I don't go through like some people do, finding every centre of a signature and working back from there. I've tried that before and I end up confusing myself. Once this is in and stuck, then we can decorate. Where these are not necessarily even, what I have been known to do is after decorating is put a bit of washi down to catch them. This is actually on this page very narrow. I don't normally do them this narrow, so I am going to put washi down immediately. The reason I don't normally put washi down immediately is I don't know what colours I'm going to use when decorating a page. That's why I like to add the washi last, so I can colour coordinate or clash, doesn't really matter, just so it can become part of the design. Whereas by doing it in advance, it's dictating, to me, it's dictating the design. Washi tape, as you know, is not hugely sticky, so run it over a Pritt stick or add more Pritt stick to the page so you can make sure that washi sits down. The other reason I've never shown you my journals is because some days I write 3 pages or more. That's long. Plus when I'm making notes and writing things, I need thinking time. And I don't know how much anyone wants to watch me writing and speaking out loud at the same time. I've repaired that slightly disastrous pulling, and now that's down to 1 page. And then I thought we'd start today with the end of 2021, and I have a few bits and pieces that are already cut out. We have this New Year's Eve decoration, which I think might be quite a nice way to start the journal. I don't really have any washi in this colour, but I do have it in this colour, and I think what I will do therefore is put some of this on this page. And then this is just something I bought from, I think it's TLC Creations or Printables. They were doing a special offer, or what I thought was very reasonable price for starting a journal. think it was $3. Got even more decoration. We've got these pages here. I think I would have to cut that border off. Some things that say Happy New Year. A woman in evening dress. I know she's not quite the right colour, but I'm not too worried. Maybe do a collage on this page too. I know that's a lot of collaging, but I can go into resolutions or intentions on the next page. What I'm going to do is I'm using the Distress Ink Victorian Velvet just to edge round everything, because I've used the pink coloured washi here. I'm hoping that will coordinate these browns to that pink. I've edged up a few of the little bits and pieces here, and now it is just going to be a question of how are we going to place them. Don't know that works. That would definitely go somewhere. It's a very simple collage, but possibly works for the simplicity of it, just to add a little something. On this double page, I've added some extra little images. I don't want this to be just a glue book. I want it also to act as a journal. On this page, you can see it's already getting thick. I've got another one of these women, which I think gives you some continuity as you open the pages, that for the 31st straight first you have the same image. I also printed up the Junk Journal January prompts. Might actually build the collage that's going to go on this page off page and then put it down as a whole page. I'll show you what I mean. Sometimes the easiest way to collage is actually to build the whole thing off site and then move it over to the page that you want it on. I'm going to do that in this case. I think I will also stain this to which one do I want to match, the browns or her? Maybe the browns. I'm going to take Rusty Hinge and see what that's like. It's a more orangey brown, because these are multicoloured. End up doing a few colours on one. I printed it up black and white because I didn't like the original. I didn't feel it went with my journal. This is Vintage Photo. To use the espresso, I'm going to put a little bit on here of water. As soon as you add water to this, that's it, you're done for. I'm going to spray this up and try and move some of this ink around. I want to create a page that is going to be the highlights from 2021. I don't really remember many, but I do know that I did achieve some things. I've got this washi tape, haven't I? This fake washi tape from my mum's journal, which is quite pretty. This one has a star on it and a bit of green, and there's stars on this one, and it would just give it a little something extra. I think I found something that'll work. I found these little silhouettes that come from the Chinese New Year, from the Chinese zodiac. I think they have 12. I'm going to try and get these out and scatter these over this background as well, and that might be that finishing touch that I'm looking for. I punched them out using a small circle punch, and now I'm just going to scatter them. Now here's the little bit about mine. Artistic culture, gentle, intelligent, sensitive, fussy, self-centered, dependent, insecure, indulgent. Kind of accurate. Oh, I don't love it, but it's okay. And I'm going to Mod Podge over her and this area, but not here. Right, let's get some of this over here so it secures bits down that I'm not overly confident about. I shall let that dry off. I've been thinking what I want to do to combine this blue with this brown and make it work with the green as well. And I've decided to go back to watercolours, and I'm going to take some of these colours and go around these circles, and as you can see they're just crayons. So I'm going to mix up the colours a little bit, put some bits in around these crayons. It's almost like scribbling. Maybe a bit of green, because we have green in this and this. And then what other colours do we have? We've got pinks, yellows, don't really want yellows. Pale blue or mid blue? Pale blue. Then I'm going to take the water. I mean, I've no idea whether this is going to work. And create, I'm not quite sure what I'm creating, but I'm creating something. A splodgy mess. I want to try to keep the circles relatively clear. I may well have to bring in a highlighter of some sort, maybe a gel pen or the Stabilo. Is that a dry? Okay, I'm lifting it up just to see what I feel about this so far. Obviously I've gone off here, but what I can do is, rather than try and write on this, is to write on a piece of paper that will fit this area and then glue it on top. That's not an issue. I'm not sure that I'm loving this yet, so what I'm going to try and do is maybe highlight it even more. I've yet to decide which way I'm going to go with this. It's still not 100% dry, but I think probably I'm going to just try in a corner a little bit of a blue highlight and see how that looks. And if I like that, then I will go around the edges of all the circles. I've outlined these in that dark blue gel pen, and I've written my quick review of 2021 main events that happened. Helena getting into Exeter Uni, Oscar getting into LSST, had a new gym and drum room built in the garden, which meant I could create a 5th bedroom in the house. Got a lodger for a few months, no longer here. House has been repainted throughout. I started the YouTube in junk journaling and I stopped doing TikTok. And I've put as a little note here, COVID limits travel and life, which I think is true for everyone. I will be sticking that here, and from here onwards it's going to be all about the new year. When it comes to the new year, I started to write a list, and as always, as soon as you start to write a list, you could go on forever. I'm going to break this down therefore into major headings like health, work, personal or personal growth, and then to make it more like a junk journal, I'm going to take some small envelopes, each one will be decorated, and put tags with the goals for those headings into those envelopes. What I intend to do is put cards into these envelopes with the goal. Initially I want, because it's January, although I've already done quite a few browns, I've started to move on this page into some blues, started to introduce some blues. So the next 4 or 5 pages I want to take more blue, snow, those kind of colours. The first thing I'm going to do is basically get the white gesso and get these covered. Back to one of my favourite things in the world. If you've been watching any of my videos, you'll understand that I am in love with watercolour crayons, because you can just scribble, and I like scribbling. All I'm going to do is, as you can see, quickly scribble on some blues, maybe some other colours, but mainly blues. Then grab some water. Oh, don't have much in there. Do that, which gets it moving, but then also smudge those colours in together. Right, these are all dry. I'm going to keep them all pretty similar. So the next stage for these 5 envelopes is I'm going to take a script stamp and some Stays On permanent black ink. I'm going to add to this background by putting a bit of print on the envelopes. Oops, that appears to be upside down, which really isn't very useful. It is a background, so it doesn't have to be perfect again. I have these wintry style napkins that are not specifically Christmas. And I just want to take off, I think it's only 2 layers, but we'll see. There may be another layer to that. We now have a nice thin layer. I think I'm going to try and get the snowman on. So I am going to cut a little bit around the snowman. And then taking some Mod Podge, I'm going to put some over the whole envelope. The underneath layer, because it's watercolour, will move slightly. The permanent ink shouldn't move. It doesn't mean it doesn't, it just shouldn't. Once that's on, then get the napkin, position it where you want it. Get him smoothed down very gently. Very easy to rip this once it's down to 1 ply. And then taking the Mod Podge, do a top layer. When that's covered all over, set aside to dry. Once these are dry, you need to very carefully open the envelope back up again and trim off any spare edges. With the pages that they're going to go onto, we're going to do some bases. And the bases that I commonly do, if you've watched any of my videos before, are just a mixture of old music paper and text Mod Podged onto the page. This is why I remove pages, because I know I'm going to start to make things thicker. If you are particularly concerned about pages underneath getting affected, then just use a piece of wax paper between the pages that you're working on. So it is simply as before, put the Mod Podge down, put the text over, or whatever you're using. You can use anything, you can use coloured paper, whatever you want. I just say put a base down, just because, oops, several pages there, just because it gives you a clean area to start working from. I think for me it's very difficult to know what to do when faced with a blank page like this. However, if some work's already been done on a page, for some reason it's then easier for me to do some work on top of that. And I don't know why, but it's the same when I paint. My friend who taught me how to paint taught me to always paint my white canvases black or red or whatever colour I wanted, but never white, and it worked. I'm going over the top with the Mod Podge as well, because that creates a barrier for the paper, which means it's less porous. I will be doing that on all 5 pages. This is all dry and is now on 5 pages. And we will be placing our envelopes on each page, but as you can see, that leaves quite a large area that's very plain looking at the moment. To decorate this, I'm going to use Distress inks and rub them onto here and spray them with some water, and potentially also go in with some watercolours. I want the colours on here to complement these envelopes but not be exactly the same. As you can see, that's quite random. That's the Salvage Patina. Using the same colours I used before, I'm also going to use the watercolour pencil crayons. I will particularly have a dark frame. Now all the pages are done with the blue undercoat, I am going to do exactly what we did on the envelopes, using this, which is the second ply, and this is the top ply, to cover the whole page with this picture. Yesterday I had fun because my book fell apart. So this is not like my Artesia books where you can just add endless bits of water. In fact, it still looks like it needs a bit more repairing. But I've done what I can with silicone glue and washi tape to repair the pages that basically fell out. Even this came away from the spine, so I've used some silicone glue down there. Stiffened up this page a lot, but that's okay because that's going to be January the 1st. This is all review stuff or goals. So I'm just going to see if I can run something down here. I've got some gold tape actually, and that's what I did with all the pages. Went through, added tape, trying to hold things together a bit better, closed it up, and then cut off the excess to make sure it went into that groove. That took a bit of time. I also cut these down so they would fit into these envelopes. I've since rounded the corners and started to edge them in the salvage patina. I just need to do the reverse of those. Now I'm just going to take some super strong glue and glue one envelope per page. I found a pad of these papers in my stash of stuff, and I think what I'm going to do is create a collage on one side of these cards and then write the goal on the other. Have the Mod Podge and the leftover of the paper napkins that we've been using. I think the first thing I'm going to do, again, it will make it look different to the others because this doesn't have any book page or stamping underneath. So each time I use a napkin, I'm using it on a slightly different background. I'm going to pop this down and then collage over it. So where normally I would collage over book pages, this time I'm covering a background with a bit of napkin and then doing it that way. We have these pieces that I found. For example, this one is a postcard type thing. I don't think it's going to fully fit, but it's going to get pretty close. Got a few little stampy things which could go to the side like that. I have things also from my Happy Planner that haven't been used. I could cut that bow out. Right, what I will do is I'm going to see by cutting it down what we have and whether we need to add any more or if that's enough. Okay, I think that looks quite pretty as it is. 11 cards to make. I'll come back to you when they are all made. Here's all the cards that I'm going to write my goals for next year on. Then in here we have the envelopes the cards are going to go in. So now it's just a question of writing the goals down. Time to make some commitments. Health section is going to be number 1 on that is lose 20 pounds by my birthday. Okay, that's 4 just on health alone, but that's the biggest category, I think. Then we have work. Not much for work, I must admit. I wanted to set a YouTube target. I don't know what to put that under though. Oh, I did have a general, didn't I? That's the point. So under my general, I'll have a YouTube monthly target. Personal. And then I have 5 envelopes. This is my misc, if you like. So I haven't used all of them at all, but they can be saved. They can go into a little ephemera box, no problem. These are now going to go in here. I know tucking them away seems a little odd, but I do actually know what they are, and I can always get them out and double check them if I don't. Miscellaneous I think we'll put at the end. Health, I suppose, is the first one. It's always the priority one, isn't it? We've got work. Yeah, let's get all the boring stuff in first. Do YouTube next. And then we have personal. That's MISC. I think for video 1 ideas for setting up your 2022 diary, this is as far as we're going to go, because there has been actually quite a bit. So we had the me destroying my book, so please don't do what I did. We've got a list here for Junk Journal January, and this is really going to be my page where if I take part in challenges or have odd deadlines to do with journaling, I'll put them in here. Bringing in the new year is a review or an overview of what happened last year, major events. And these are my goals, tasks, aims for 2022. Tell me what you think of this incredibly chunky, long-winded way of setting up a journal. Don't forget to give the video a little thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because it does help other people on YouTube see it. And I will see you next time.